Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Southern Rural Community Forum, an opportunity for the local community to be more involved and influence the work of North Herts council members and officers. We do not anticipate a fire alarm during this meeting, but if one does occur, please follow the designated fire exits. And in accordance with council policy, this meeting is being recorded. The recordings will be available on the council's YouTube channel, as well as on the council's ModGov website, alongside the documents from this meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone, members, officers, and members of the public to this hybrid meeting of the Southern Rural Community Forum. Before the meeting starts, I would like to invite the community officer to explain how the proceedings work and to undertake a roll call of those attending online to ensure they can hear and be heard. Thank you.
As this, but is it that bit? Doing the roll call. Could you do the roll call? Because I can't see who's online. If everyone online can let us know that you can hear us and we can confirm that we can hear you. I'll call each of you out one at a time, and then if you can confirm that, unmute yourself and then confirm that, that'd be great. Can we start with Councillor Joe Graziano, please? Councillor Graziano, if you can unmute yourself and just confirm that you can hear us and we can hear you.
Sorry, I'm in two places at once. Can you hear me? Here and live.
Loud and clear, Joe. Thank you. And next, Rebecca Elliott, can you please just acknowledge that you can hear us and we can hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent, thank you. You're jumping around. Andrew Prynne, if you can do the same, please.
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent, thank you. And Julie Lister. Hi, Julie, are you able to hear us? Okay, so that's a grant applicant who we're not hearing from at the minute, but we'll try to come back to later and see if they can hear us later. Thank you.
So as this is not a formal council meeting, and ask questions, but please raise your hand and if possible, say your name when you are invited to speak. We will be receiving presentations from community groups seeking grant funding. Councillors will be voting to make a recommendation to the executive member for governance. The Community Partnerships Officer will clearly state the result of the vote and the chair will proceed to the next agenda item. In the event of a tied vote, the chair will have the casting vote. Are there any questions before we start the meeting? Okay. We have received apologies from Councillor Laura Williams and Councillor David Barnard. Has anyone received any other apologies to pass on? I have also received apologies from Councillor Chris Lucas as well. Chair's announcements. Councillors, members are reminded to make any declarations of interest before any item they may wish to abstain from voting on if they have an interest, but they are merely making recommendations and not decisions. Can I please move on to the presentation from the North Herts Safer Neighbourhood team? Can I please invite PS Taz Gill to present the North Herts Safer Neighbourhood team? Thank you.
Thank you. It's working lovely. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you all for having me. As mentioned, I'm Taz. I'm the Safer Neighbourhood Sergeant for Hitchin Urban and Hitchin Rural. There's a few metrics to go through. I'll start with doing a quick rundown of some of the crime metrics that we have. There's hundreds of metrics, so I don't want to be here for hours and hours and hours, but I have provided a bit of a summary and I'm happy to go into detail for them, as well as do a review of antisocial behaviour and then give answers for 3 questions that we've had from councillors via email, and I'll go through that at the end, and then happy for sort of questions and answers if there are any. So to dive straight into the statistics, these data sets are from the 1st of the 4th, 2025 to the 9th of the 2nd, 2026. With the 1st of the 4th, 24 to the 9th of the 2nd, 25. That's just how the data set and crime data works. So in terms of overall crime, so for all data metrics, specifically for Hitchin Rural, this year we've had 882 recorded crimes, last year being 744, so that is an increase of 18.5%. Across the county as well of Hertfordshire, there has been an increase in overall crime stats. To discuss burglary residential, so this is just residential homes, specifically for Hitchin Rural, there has been an increase last year being 20 recorded crimes of residential burglaries, and this year they're being recorded 29. Across the county as well, there has been an increase in residential burglaries across the county of Hertfordshire. For burglary, business and community burglary, so there's basically any other burglary that's not residential, there hasn't been a change in the metric in crime stat. This year we've had 11 and last year we've had 11 as well. And actually we've seen a fall both in North Hertfordshire and in the county of Hertfordshire in burglary, business and communities. For personal robberies, this is robberies within the street. We have seen an increase. It's only an increase of 1, last year being 2 and this year being 1. And there has actually been an overall reduction in personal robberies across North Hertfordshire and the county of Herts collectively. And then for shoplifting, there has been a small increase in shoplifting for Hitchin Rural, last year having 29 recorded crimes and this year having 30. So it's an increase of 3.4%, although our outcomes are certainly higher for shopliftings now than they have ever been before. So that's just a very quick rundown of the crime stats. I'm quite happy to take any questions and answers around crime before moving on to some of the councillor questions that I've had, if anyone does have any questions. No questions.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks so much for that, Simon and Gail. I just on these numbers that you've outlined, which are quite helpful, you can see the trends that it's really good that crime is down across North Herts, but when it comes to Hitchin Rural, most of the metrics are in red. I'll leave aside the personal robbery one because yes, 1 more is still too many, but a 50% looks a bit dramatic when it's gone from 2 to 3. But with the others, 45% increase on residential burglary. And I say this as well because Great Ashby is one of those stats as well. It's great. And I know that the PCC's focus has been on a winter of action following on from the summer, and their focus has been on town centres.
Yes.
Does this potentially show that that focus, which has shown decreases in crime across, there's been potentially a focus there that shifted attention away from the rural areas, and that's why there's potentially some of this increase that's showing in quite large percentage term numbers?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few impact factors that has contributed towards rural crime. One certainly being offences like fly tipping, which is prevalent obviously in the rural areas and not so much in the urban areas. We have also had organised crime groups that have been operating within the rural grounds, particularly obviously from Bedfordshire being our county area. We have got a few good success stories which I'll go through towards the end. One of them actually is the arrest of several organised crime groups linked to burglaries that have also had offences committed in North Hertfordshire. And that's a really good news story with positive outcomes. That's led to a few charges and remands in prison, actually. So although crime stats are higher, there have been a few impact factors. I obviously can't comment on the PCC's direction around the winter of action. Resourcing has been an issue. There's no sort of lie on that. Obviously, I've mentioned that previously. Just discussing with a few councillors before we commenced the session, our restructure, I think, will benefit We've gone from only having one rural officer on my team and one rural PCSO to, as of Monday, having another 2 additional PCs and a hopeful uplift of PCSOs across the neighbourhood policing team. So although crime is up, our officer numbers haven't increased, but over the next financial year, we are hoping to see an uplift, and no doubt that will probably support with catching and convicting.
Thank you very much. Councillor MacDonald, please.
Thank you, and thanks very much for the update. Just looking at the burglary residential, is this specifically house breaking? What about sheds, agricultural equipment, etc.?
So the burglary residential metric is it does include sheds, and it's any building connected to the main dwelling.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if it is a garage that is away from the house, that might not count in that metric, depending on the distance of that
Okay. Thank you.
garage.
Thank you very much, Councillor MacDonald. So I've got a question. So in my ward, there is because of our location in the Wymanleys, we have a fly tipping issue, and in particular there is a field in between St Ippolis, Ashbrook, and Little Wymanley that has become a very bad dumping ground. And because it's on private property, there's nothing that we can really do as a council. So is there an opportunity for the police to support the landowner in tracking down who did the fly tipping?
Yep. So I believe there is a review that is in sort of the final stages, really, between Hertfordshire Constabulary, senior officers within Hertfordshire Constabulary, and the relevant authorities within NHC. I know there's a bit of a sort of a dispute at the moment around the ownership of fly tipping, whether it's public or whether it's private. If there is a owner of a property that has had a fly tip on private land, and there are identifiable marks or serial numbers or addresses that could link to an offender, that's definitely something the police would be interested in. And if they are reported to the police, we would actively investigate those types of offences. If they're reported to the council do an assessment of the fly tip, and there are active lines of investigation, they will report that to the police, and we would record that as a crime. So we definitely are happy to support with those investigations if they're obviously reported in the right way, and the council are aware of them as the lead agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy to help. Yeah.
Okay, if we can move on to the next bit, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got 3 questions. The first is from Councillor Paul Ward. This is in relation to rural coverage, and obviously I did touch base around the operational coverage or lack of operational coverage until Monday, which is when our team is moving. So as of Monday, we are having a restructure within our neighbourhood policing team that's across Hitchin, Letchworth, Baldock, and in Royston. Without overcomplicating it, there's 3 separate teams. I'm responsible for Team 3, which consists of some officers in Hitchin, some officers in Letchworth, some officers in Royston. As of Monday, that is changing, which means I will have operational coverage and oversight of all officers based in Hitchin. So we effectively, at any one point, will have more PCs and more PCSOs on duty at the same time. I was discussing with some councillors, just before we started, with a particular incident in Ickleford where the ward officer is on Team 1, and I'm obviously on Team 3. So when he's on duty, I'm on a rest day. And when I'm on a rest day, he's on duty. That will obviously change come Monday. So for the rural areas specifically, that means I will go from just having PC Moore and PCSO Stuart Stone to having an additional 2 PCs and an available PCSO if needed. We've also had confirmation over the next financial year for another PCSO recruitment that has been confirmed. Not quite sure when that intake is going to start and when the officer will actually land in North Herts and how many might land. But there is a commitment from our Chief Constable to recruit PCSOs. So I hope that we will have a uptake in operational coverage for Hitchin Rural and Hitchin Urban. Councillor Ward, did you want to have any other questions in relation to that? Hopefully that's answer the question.
Oh, thank you, Chair. No, I think that's really clear. It's good to hear that. It's getting better. I was just
Music,
very
news to my ears. Yeah.
yeah. As you know, when I've been out with the team, very surprised to understand how few resources you have, and that's unfortunate, but it's good that it's getting better. And I know you'll still be stretched, but doing what you can, and hope that will start to see some results for residents.
Definitely. Thank you. No worries. So question 2 is from Councillor Pearce. It's 2 parts to the question. The first is speeding, Bedford Road and Olsey Road for Cadwell Ward being Ickleford and Holwell. And then the second part being HGV weight limit through the village and how this is enforced and how we can enforce that. So I did a bit of digging of data. We contacted our data analyst for the transport planning and data team that sits with HCC, and I gathered 5 years worth of collision data, specifically for Bedford Road within the 20, 30 and 40 mile an hour. There was only four recorded slight injuries along Bedford Road. In those incidences, speed wasn't a recorded contributory factor. There was one incident which was a slight injury slightly further up the road into the national speed limit, which was a contributory factor. As for Olsey Road, within the 30 mile an hour period, there was only 2 slight injuries recorded within that 5-year period, and neither of those had excess speed as a contributory factor. Due to speed not being a contributory factor and that there were only slight injuries, the roads wouldn't be a candidate for targeted roads policing unit speed enforcement activity. And I don't believe HCC, from our data analyst, I don't believe HCC have identified either of those locations to be classed as a hazardous site. However, if there were to be a traffic survey, then obviously our district, county council partners, if funding permits, can do a road survey. If the data shows that speed is a contributory factor, then assessments can be made around speed management, speed bumps. In terms of speed enforcement, because it's not classed as a hazardous site, it wouldn't be an area which our roads policing unit would actively target, but it's certainly on radar for our next PSF. So when I do the communications for our next priority setting forum, please do submit that. And if there are residences in the area that do want to raise the speed issue on Bedford Road and Olsey Road, please submit that and I can consider that for neighbourhood policing enforcement, which we can do. We do have a calibrated speed gun. Councillor Munster did support with funding for that. And we do have an operationally deployable speed gun. So we can definitely look into that in the next PSF. And speed enforcement has been a PSF in other areas for years and years and years. So we certainly are happy to have a look, but it wouldn't qualify as a targeted area for the roads policing unit. Second part of the question was the weight limit around Holwell, I believe. Long story short, yes, it's definitely something we can look at. It's currently a PSF that we have on Grove Road that was submitted to us from the MP's office. Several members of the public along Grove Road reported HGVs and large vehicles travelling from Wilbury Way. I'm very happy to have a look at that for this road as well. There is quite a lengthy process to assessing heavy goods vehicles. It's never a quick fix, and the sort of sanction for overweight vehicles is a £50 non-endorsable fine. For hours and hours and hours worth of work. We're certainly not work shy. I'm very, very happy to put the resources into it, and certainly easier come Monday when the team gets bigger. But I wouldn't say there's much of a deterrence, really. But that is a legislative issue. Very, very happy to support. It does require quite a lot of officers. We would need to have evidence that the vehicle has travelled through the weight restricted zone. It requires the vehicle to be stopped, the driver to be interviewed at the roadside, several hours of paperwork, and an assessment of the red paper and the white paper within the HGV. But if it does lead to a prosecution, it's something that we can support there and then. But it is a lot of work for £50 fine, but we're happy to do it. Does that answer the question, Councillor Pearce?
Yeah, it was actually sort of the Ickleford weight limit that I was thinking of coming from the Arlesey
From the
direction
north
to
side,
the village.
south.
Yeah, coming south. Can members of the public do anything if they see an overweight vehicle? How can they report it?
They can't.
Right.
They can't. Just because it is a heavy goods vehicle, it doesn't mean that necessarily an offence has been committed, because some drivers do have a permit, and permits can't be assessed by members of the public. There are certain reporting methods for moving traffic offences, like those not wearing a seatbelt or those using a mobile phone. We've had that reporting method for years, where if it's captured on dash cam or member of the public records a driver committing an offence, they can report that through our online reporting tool. But the use of a large goods vehicle in a weight restricted zone must only be assessed by a police officer, and we have to be there and then. It's not something we can look at retrospectively. So it would effectively require a handful of officers who are trained on that fast road to stop the vehicle, do the interviews, and do the whole investigation at the roadside. It's not something members of the public can report on. That's a legislative restriction. Yeah.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you. I just want to follow up on the HGVs, because we have a very similar issue within Wymondley,
Mhm.
where very small roads,
Yeah.
very, very big trucks
Mhm.
all day, every day,
Mm.
bar a Sunday.
Mhm.
And I think that sort of ring of steel, that that limit is very big.
Mm.
And where you've got the Hitchin depot
Mhm.
that they go, that's the aggregate lorries,
Yeah.
right? Very, very heavy. So where they're going to their depot by Hitchin Station is sort of on the northern end of that ring of steel.
Mm.
Great Wymondley sort of stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
And all they're not doing anything illegal.
Mm.
They're literally going to
Mm.
where they need to go.
Mm.
But that area is quite big. And
Yeah.
instead of coming in from the north,
Mm.
they're just driving through
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
I would certainly encourage perhaps a joint report or complaints from members of the public to HCC. Obviously, road management does sit with Hertfordshire County Council. If certain signs are placed, if there is a breach of road traffic signs and instruction from HCC, we're very, very happy to enforce that. Inconvenience, sadly, isn't a criminal offence. But if there is a survey or change of road layout from HCC with restrictions, we're happy to support.
Thank you.
But what I would certainly encourage is if that can be reported in our next PSF, I can make that a priority for the following 3 months.
Right, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's fine. One last question, and this was from
Sorry,
right, my apologies.
No, you're fine. We've got one online. Councillor Joe Graziano.
All right, thanks, Chair. Good evening, Sergeant Taz. It's Joe here from the Hitchwood ward. I concur with my colleagues. We are being trashed. It seems to be more and more with fly tipping, and I hear the point about private land. The HGV is topical at the moment in our area. We're getting trashed by these massive trucks, and obviously I'm working with Caroline there. Caroline, there. Hopefully we're going to put a motion forward to get the sat navs reprogrammed. But Hertfordshire and North Herts, if you email enforcement, they will look at it. I've got active cases in our area where North Herts will investigate violations of HGV traffic. I know the police. You've just given me a presentation about the £50 thing, but we're getting hammered left, right, and centre. We had 2 HGVs coming up the Darley Hall, and then the police had to get involved to shut the road so they could reverse. It's because they're coming this way. So you can email enforcement at North Herts and Hertfordshire, and they will investigate with video footage. I've had to do that, and I've submitted it, and they will investigate. So hopefully, it's just for colleagues as well, that there is a way to do that. But it's just very slow and very frustrating because our residents think nobody's doing nothing about it. And in the meanwhile, the verges are getting teared up and people are getting angrier and angrier as they drive rurally. And it's just something we're getting barraged with left, right, and centre, PC Taz. So, I concur with my colleagues there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't disagree with you. It's frustrating for us as well when we're effectively wasting police time, shutting roads off because of inconsiderate driving. But certainly the note of changing sat nav, if that is something that can be done, would be really good. I think a lot of HGV drivers are out of force and they're just following where the sat nav is going. So yeah, very happy to support that. Happy to help in any way we can. Yeah, perfect. And there was one last question. I think this was from yourself again, Councillor Ward, referring to Hearts Connected message. This just goes on to the point that I made at the start. So we have had, we did communication from our Hearts Connected system. This was confirmed by Detective Superintendent Mark Clawson. Several offenders were arrested. We had 11 offenders arrested for offences committed in Welwyn, Hatfield, Hertsmere, St Albans, Dacorum, Three Rivers, North Hart specifically for us, and East Hertfordshire. That was an investigation undertaken by our sort of sneaky beaky units is probably the best way of putting it, for 11 offenders charged for burglary offences, being cross-border in Hertfordshire, but also in other forces, and that's resulted in charge and remands. It's certainly worth noting for the offences of burglary, which that's specifically linked to, is a lot of these offenders are across the UK. They're often not offenders that reside within the areas that they're committing these offences. So for us as a neighbourhood policing team, where we're responsible just for the area that we're working in, we do have these dedicated units across Hertfordshire Police that will look at things holistically, and that's away from the neighbourhood policing team, but obviously does benefit us because we have had now members of the public who have been contacted where their properties have been burgled and have received this feedback of charges and remands. So just a bit of good work that I wanted to raise. That's not from the neighbourhood policing team, so I can't claim the good work from that, but it is from Hertfordshire Constabulary and our specialist units.
Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thanks for that update. Just say it's I think that combined efforts are appreciated, and it continues to be a topic of, I think, great concern. Clearly, the communication was talking specifically about residential burglaries that happen on the edges of communities, so typically detached houses that back onto fields and things like that, which obviously there's an awful lot of in southern rural. So I'm sure it will continue to be a focus, but hopefully we get more results like that. And
definitely, and I think as our team gets bigger, we hopefully will get better results. I think operational coverage is a big thing, and having one officer cover the whole of the Hitchin rural area just is not good enough. Hence why the organisational restructures taken place within the neighbourhood policing team. So hopefully for the next meeting next year, I can produce better outcomes. Very happy to produce that. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Councillor Strong.
Yes, perhaps you could remind us all when the next setting of objectives for the next year is going to be an involvement, because I'm always a bit late and finding out after the event that the event has been done. I did notice you doing something for Hitchin, but those seem to always be in the daytime.
The PSFs are based on public feedback, so it's not purely a stat-led outreach. The priority setting forums are a national scheme. What that looks like is surveys that get sent out by the police via Hearts Connected. Members of the public fill out the form to basically summarise what their local issues are in the area. They're collated by myself and my counterpart. We review that, and then we aim for the following 3 months for that to be a policing focus. So if members of the public are raising the issues and enough raise it, it then becomes a priority setting forum for the 3 months after. So the next one will be in a few months, but I do tend to send an email out to all councillors as a bit of a heads up that the priority setting forum is coming our way. So they can be submitted by councillors directly to me, and I always send that out in email. But if it comes from members of the public, it often carries a bit more weight because all the data is captured with locations. But I'm happy to send another email out with a reminder of that process, if that helps.
It would help me terribly because I tend to get some things lost. Just from at the moment, what are the 3 priorities at the moment that we're working on?
So we've got quite a few speeding at the moment in the south of the area. We've also got fly tipping with partner agency working with North Herts Council alongside our rural operational support team. And then we've also got vehicle related crime. So that's van brakes, theft from motor vehicles and theft of motor vehicles. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Councillor Ward.
Oh, thank you. It's actually a follow up on the same point, and maybe rather than me quizzing you the other way round. I know when we'd had a conversation about the last set of priorities, it was disappointing there hadn't actually been much feedback from people in Nebworth. And I'm not saying it's not a beauty competition amongst the villagers here, but I guess I want to encourage more engagement and get people get to feedback to you. So if there's, as well as emails, if there's things like collateral that you've got, we can put on social media, etc. I'm sure all of us are able to do that. So I guess the ask is really for me is what more help do you want from us, and what information can we have to help get more participation?
Absolutely. I've mentioned it a few times now with these sessions. Hearts Connected is so important to us. It's the main method of communication with members of the public. We do surveys in relation to violence against women and girls. We do surveys around fly tipping with the thoughts and feelings, antisocial behaviour, crime perception sometimes in areas. And obviously we've discussed in depth around what's happening in Nebworth and sometimes the fear of crime within the area. Sadly, when it comes to setting the priority setting forums, the surveys don't get filled out. So the turnout of the community actually raising their concern or their perception when it's most needed it then drops off radar. Given how policing is at the moment, with it being evidentially led, I have to put my resources, the finite resources that I've got, where the data shows that it's required. The unique thing with the priority setting forum is it is based on public feedback. So if the public say they want X, Y, and Z in their area, and there's enough of those reports, legally, I must put my officers into that problem. When we put the officers into the problem, we also then create a problem-solving plan. So there's a whole metric that takes place once that data comes in, but that all comes from Hearts Connected. So I guess my request for councillors is to push out Hearts Connected as much as you can. If there are councillors that aren't too aware of Hearts Connected, I'm very happy for councillors to email me. I'm very, very happy to go through it with them. All officers across Hertfordshire within the neighbourhood policing team, not just in North Herts, but in every district, uses Hearts Connected every single day. The moment a member of the public submits a concern, it lands in my inbox within a second. I have to review that. It's tracked at a senior level, and we report to that. We report those concerns in our daily management meetings as well. So Hearts Connected is the most important thing. If that can be pushed out by councillors, that would be really, really appreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joe Graziano.
Thanks, Chair. I don't know if you're aware, Sergeant Taz, there's this barn meeting on the 25th of March that we're encouraged to go on. Just plug that there. I think it's for all rural residents. So I've been putting it on social media quite hard and fast. So hopefully we'll get a good turnout.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. That's a nice reminder. 24th of March, we have a rural barn meet. I've got the location. We've actually got a fly that our corporate communications team has created. So I'll send that to all councillors. And again, if you can spread the word, that would be great. We'll have the PCC there, representation at senior level, myself, the whole of the rural team, Inspector James Lant, the neighbourhood policing inspector. There's a whole agenda in place. So leave that with me and I'll cascade that to all councillors. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any more questions? Okay, I think I just wanted to say on behalf of the Southern Rural members is that we really value yours and the police's work. So thank you very much for coming in to talk to us and giving us an update as well. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay, please could we move on to item 4, public participation in relation to grant applications. Can I invite the Community Partnerships Officer to update members on budgets?
Thank you. On the Community Forum report, as outlined in Appendix 1, the community grant budget available is £6,952. The total amount of funding requested for this evening will be 4,642. So if the applications outlined in the appendices 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are recommended and approved, there will be £2,310 available to carry forward into the 26-27 budget, subject to approval from Cabinet. Happy to answer any questions.
Councillor Ward?
That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. So does that essentially, if we don't spend it now, that will get added to next year's pot? So
Yeah.
next year's pot will be the budget amount plus this year's rollover for
Yes.
lottery terms.
Yeah, that's always happened. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you could just follow up. I just maybe check with our finance colleagues that's the case, because that'd be good news, but
Yeah.
it'd be unusual.
It's always been rolled over. I've never known it be.
We've always tried to spend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we
Yes, but
we
if there's
don't,
anything left,
yeah,
it
it
gets
is
rolled
always,
over.
and it's always been a tradition that it'll always be rolled over to the next financial year, unless there's an administration that suddenly decide they want to claw it back and not give it to it. That would be terribly mean. But no, we've always had it. We've always it's sort of dipped and down.
Okay. Oh, all right. Good. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
You're good. You're good. Thank you. Okay. Could I please invite it's online. Could I please invite Neil Broughton, hope I'm saying Broughton, from the 1st Ickleford 9th Hitchin Scout Group to present, please?
Okay, good evening. I hope you can all hear me okay. So I'm Neil Broughton. I'm the group lead volunteer at Ickleford Scouts, 9th Hitchin, serving the community of Ickleford and its close environs, really. So we have about 100 or so youngsters involved in the village, and we're very much a growing group. We've recently started the youngest group of scouts in the town, which are the 4 to 6-year-olds. So Squirrel Scouts were one of the 3 groups in the town and villages that are starting Squirrel Scouts. And we're also in the process of starting a new cub pack, which is our 8 to 10-year-old youngsters as well. So we have a growing demand for scouting in the village. We meet at the moment in the Ickleford Village Hall, and that's one of our significant expenses. So effectively, we spend money on membership to the National Scout Organisation, which includes Hertfordshire County and Hitchin District. We spend money on the rental of the village hall, and we spend money providing activities directly to young people. So that is funded in the main by subscriptions that we charge directly to young people or their parents, and that keeps us solvent. So what we're asking for at the moment is some support to, in particular, the rental of the village hall, with increases in numbers, as I say, with Squirrel Scouts starting up last year, and looking to provide a second cub pack sometime after Easter this year. Then we are a growing group. At the moment, that's funded entirely by parental contributions. So with the current cost of living pressures, etc., we're very conscious that we try and reduce the cost to parents for that activity for their young people as much as possible. And this sort of grant would help us minimize any potential increases that are driven by external factors. And I fully appreciate that the village hall have their own costs to incur as well. So unsurprisingly, those costs to us go up year on year as well. Looking forwards, we've got new housing developments coming into the village. Right, wrong, or sideways, Ickleford is identified as one of the growth areas in Hitchin. So looking forwards, there will be more demand for youth provision in the village. I would very much hope that we're going to be able to expand and support that as well. We are looking forwards in our longer term planning as to how we might meet those needs as and when developments in the village happen. But that's pretty much where we are at the moment. As I say, we're a successful scout group. We have a large waiting list at the moment, as well as the sessions that we run, but we are very conscious on the pressures of parental contributions and would dearly like to reduce those down as much as we can. And I'm happy to take any questions that people have.
Councillor Strong.
Yes, I've got a question. Am I right in thinking that you've also received a grant from the Rands Educational Foundation?
We did, yes. That tends to go towards our camping equipment. We have a significant amount of camping equipment that obviously supports those camps and activities that we run in the area as well. And we're very grateful for Rands for helping us keep that up to date.
And well, I'm just going to declare, as a trustee of Rands, I will not be voting in this part procedure. Thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is, I think, everybody going to agree that the Scouts and Guides groups are a huge value to the communities. Certainly, I come from Nebworth, and it's very active there. I was just wondering, just in terms of context, and what this money's for, is this because you've got capacity issues with your existing venue? Do you already have a Scout and Guide hut that you use, but this is for extra capacity? Or I'm just wondering, or is this providing the capacity? You've got no base for any of the activities today. I was just wondering what the setup is. And so, for example, if you've already got a Scout hut, could you use that instead, or does this actually just provide for the fact that you don't have a facility that you own?
Correct. It's the latter. We have no Scout hut building of our own. We rent the premises in the village hall to hold our section meetings. As I say, we are looking to expand our Cub Scout provision. There are no more facilities in the village that can support that. So we are looking at some of the local schools within the Ickleford area, but there is no capacity in Ickleford school itself. So we would have to look at schools outside of the immediate village environment. But again, it would be a rental facility. The Scouts do own a storage facility, a garage, effectively, as part of Ickleford Sports and Recreation Club that has a lease through the Recreation Club to the parish council, to the county council, who actually own the playing fields there. But that's not somewhere that we can meet. That's somewhere where we do have facility to store our equipment. So all of the meetings for all of the sections are held in the village hall. That is our only facility for meeting, and there is nowhere else in the village that is able to host us at the moment.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
So I've got a consideration. It's not so much a question, but obviously this is a yearly hire. And one of our contributing factors that we consider here is repeat requests for the same funding. So I just wondered what your longer term plans were in terms of securing future funding as well.
So at the moment, as I say, we're funded by parental contributions. Conscious of cost of living pressures, etc. What we would use this for is to reduce or at least not increase those parental contributions. It's a difficult balance because Ickleford is a village that, whilst it's not necessarily a deprived area, I don't think there's any IMD5 areas in the village. It has a significant proportion of what was social housing, and still some of it remains as social housing. Some of it, I think, has been bought into private ownership. I am conscious that as Scouts, we try and be as inclusive as possible and make sure that the ability to fund children's activity should as far as possible not be a determinant factor in joining Scouts. We don't track street by street membership, and we do have members who are in receipt of other support. So this would allow us to provide that more general support that would support our desire to be fully inclusive of the whole of the community of Ickleford and its environs.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any other questions? Councillor Ward.
Thank you. I was just trying to look it up, but I'm sure you know others here will know. Who owns the village hall that you rent?
Oh, that's an interesting question. It is run by the village hall committee. Whether they own the freehold of the building is not, to be honest, a question I have ever asked. I don't know whether it's a memorial hall or whatever. Yeah, to be honest, that's not a question I've ever asked of the landlord as such. It's run by a voluntary committee. Yes,
but it's a charity. It's not. So I was just comparing it to Nebworth, where things like the village hall, it's actually an asset owned by the parish council, and the parish council has discount policies on discounted arrangements for certain local groups, which is what I was thinking in terms of trying to make it sustainable and lower the cost ongoing. Could you approach the parish council? But if they don't own it, that's not a question. It's just something worth considering.
I am
minimize the cost going forward.
sure that it's not owned by the parish council, because we do have links to the parish council. Councillor Blake, who was a previous chair of the parish council, has also acted as our Scout treasurer. So I am sure he would have been aware of that. I believe it is independent, but as I say, I do not know who owns the freehold of that building, but I am 99% sure that it's not owned by the parish as such.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Vijay.
Thanks, Chair. Just a point of clarification, the subs, if you were to get the total 1,500, was it that you would not be increasing the subs at all, or you would just keep the increase to lower than what it would otherwise be?
We'd keep the increase lower than what it would otherwise be, because our other costs, such as the national membership and to some extent the activities that we provide, of course, are still increasing, but this would support the premises part of those subscriptions. So we would certainly be able to lower the any increase. Whether we would be able to hold a subs increase to zero is something that the trustees are meeting next week to discuss. We would hope to do that, but as I say, our other costs outside of our premises costs are increasing as well.
Just to follow up, how much are your subs at the moment, and what would the increase be as a percentage term generally?
So at the moment, we charge £15 per month, with a discretionary reduction that some of our members are in receipt of. We would, were we to get this grant, I think we would either hope to hold that subs or potentially put up by £1 a month.
Okay. Yeah, like 1,500 a month. So times that by 12, it's like 18,000 a year. It's not a lot.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Councillor Stephen Patmore.
I don't have a question, but I can probably answer Councillor Ward's question. I just had a quick look online. The hall's owned by the charitable trust that run it, so it's never been owned by the parish council, and for the benefit of the public. If that helps with the hard decision-making process.
Thank you very much. Thank you for enlightening us there. In that case, I'd like to move to the vote. So this is a vote on whether we wish to recommend grant funding to be awarded to the applicant. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, and it goes to the Cabinet of NHC to make the final decision. So could I please have a show of hands? Do we wish to award the full total applied? No, we don't push it. No, we just show our hands. No, total applied for is 1,500. Can I have show of hands of those in support? Any to the contrary? Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Graziano. Neil, we have recommended that you receive the grant funding.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, could I please invite Andrew Prynne from the 15th Hitchin Scouting to present? Got another scout group.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you. I feel like Neil's probably stolen 90% of my presentation, so hopefully I can speed this up for you all. I am the treasurer for the 15th Scouts in Hitchin, which is the Purton and Holwell group. Just to explain, we're looking for £500 of funding here. Initially, our group was a Beavers and Cubs group, and over the past 10 or 12 years, we've expanded. I echo Neil's comments that he's just made a short while ago. There is a large waiting group to try and get onto some of the scouting stuff that we have across the whole of Hitchin, not just within our area. But 3 years ago, we extended that to become Scouts as well. And then in the past 12 months, as Neil and Ickleford have done, we've actually incorporated a squirrel group into our fold as well, which incorporates 4 and 5 year olds. So our age group goes from 4 to 14 year olds. As part of the census that we send back to Scouting, we have 90 children on our books at the moment in Purton and Holwell, and as already explained by Neil, run as a charity, so all volunteers that are putting into it. And obviously we also charge parents as part of a regular fund. We charge, just to answer that question before I get it at the end, we charge £40 a term in order for people to be part of it. Over the past few years, we've attempted to reduce venue hire. I've heard the similar questions that have just been asked. So we used to run it out of our village hall within the village. It again became to a point where it was quite costly running multiple events from there. So we actually made the choice to move venue hire. We're slightly luckier than what Neil is over in Ickleford. We have got recreation ground. So we actually moved our events over to the recreation ground to make it more cost effective for us. There is still a charge associated with that, but throughout last summer, for example, we had a great relationship with the recreation ground. We were more flexible, that on certain days when the weather was good, we actually were not charged because we didn't use the building at all. So we've been quite flexible in that approach. For some of the councillors may well know, we have a new sports society building that's in Purton, and therefore some of the fees as we move forward into this next financial year are going to be more stable, because obviously they're looking to try and generate revenue and funding for themselves at the same time. We've attempted to pass as little increase on as possible. Back to the question that was asked a short while ago of Neil, we are also looking to try and limit any impact that follows on to parents. We are in the situation in 2025 where we did have one child that was asked to, or the parent tried to remove the child from scouting because of the cost associated to it. So it is a real factor for some families. So anything we can do to try and mitigate that and try and keep children and have the availability, as Neil's more eloquently explained than I have, the ability to be involved in camping, scouting, bettering society, and obviously not to become some of the unfortunate statistics that we heard from the policing side of things at the start of it. That's what we're trying to achieve through this. Again, £500 is what we're looking for. That equates with 90 children to £5.50 a child is what we're trying to get from yourselves. And this allows us to free up funding in order to do activities with the children as well. So we do a lot of outdoor activities. And I heard a councillor say a second ago that part of the Rands Foundation, and the Rands Foundation obviously support us as well. So I expect that will be not be able to vote, but we put through our application there as well for a lot of outdoor activities that we do. So any opportunity to free up funding for ourselves allows the children to have a much more rounded experience and a much more varied experience through the activities of scouting. One thing I would say, I saw that there was some figures being chucked around a second ago in terms of numbers. One thing that I would just add to Neil's piece, even though you've already accepted and approved that, thankfully, one of the things that we do have to spend money on is sending money up to the district in terms of coming from us within our own budgets. This year, it is a lot of money. It has increased year on year for the past few years as well. So again, when we charge parents for that, we lose roughly 55 to 60% of that gets sent off to district in terms of spending. So again, those are costs that we don't see, we don't actually get to use on the children at all. But it does go to very useful things like insurance and the structure that we have within the scouting space. So hopefully I've answered a few of the questions that might have been coming in my direction. I'm happy to take any questions at all.
Councillor Strong.
Yeah, just declaring I'll be sitting this one out again. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions? I suspect a lot of those questions were asked of Neil, so to save repeating, I don't think anyone's got any questions. Okay, if no one's got any questions, let's move straight to the vote. Could members please show their hands if you wish to recommend grant funding to be awarded to the applicant? A reminder, obviously, that it's recommendation only, and it's the cabinet that makes the final decision. Executive member, my apologies, sorry. Could I have a show of hands, please? Okay, thank you very much, and Joe. Brilliant. So that is fully recommended. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you very much, and thank you for considering us as well.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay. Could I please just continue with the online applicants, please? Could I invite Julie Lister from Purton Tennis Club to present?
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yep, we can hear you.
Right. My name's Julie Lister, and I'm a committee member of the Purton Tennis Club. Approximately 25 years ago, we received funding from the landfill tax associated with Biffa and the tip in Holwell, and we had a mugger constructed in the village, including floodlights, which has been a great benefit to the village. The mugger is owned by the parish council and currently leased to the tennis club, who have a sinking fund which pays for the maintenance and resurfacing of the courts. The courts were last resurfaced about 7 years ago and currently now need repainting because we carry out annual maintenance, which unfortunately removes the painting. Over the years, we've tried to use the mugger for basketball, netball, five-a-side football, but either due to a lack of interest within the village or because the courts were not the right size for those particular sports, they didn't flourish, so that the mugger now is primarily used for tennis. The tennis club currently has about 90 members, of whom 30 are quite active. So the courts are slightly underused. So in 2005, the tennis club committee tried to think of ways of encouraging people to participate and to use the mugger more actively. And we put an advert in the village Facebook page, from which we had, well, only one advert. We had about 40 people trialing pickleball. Pickleball is a relatively new sport. It's played by either 2 or 4 people. You use a solid paddle and you hit a perforated hollow plastic ball over a much shorter net than a tennis net, and a tennis, the court size is narrower and shorter than the tennis courts. The people involved have ranged in age from 11 to 82. I think the appeal of pickleball is it's less energetic. It's much easier to play than tennis. You can pick up a bat and ball and have an active game by the end of an hour's session. And it's been very popular. The downside of it is that we've had to lay out the lines of the courts, which takes 35 to 45 minutes. We have to measure court out, use string lines, and then set it out with plastic strips, which move as you play on the surface. And one of the side effects of that is that people they'll come up to an organised evening, but they won't just play pickleball themselves. Over the winter, we've tried to use the village hall and the school hall to play in, but neither are big enough. And despite reducing the size of the courts, you end up with the rear walls, which just makes it impossible to do. So we are looking for a contribution of £500 plus VAT towards the cost of painting 2 sets of pickleball lines onto the existing mugger. We've had a number of quotations. The quotations have varied from £500 to £1,200 plus VAT. So, we've tried to find the cheapest option for doing the lines. Yes, and if we hopefully get the money to do the lines, we hope to be able to increase the number of people playing pickleball, and we will make the pickleball a subsection of the tennis club, so that we will be covered by an insurance and membership of the LTA. Yeah. Any questions?
Does anyone here have any questions? Councillor Strong.
No, I'll make a comment. I think it's a brilliant idea for to get more use out of the mugger.
Just to point that it was not the Holwell tip, it was the North Herts landfill, because it was I spent a long time, years trying to educate councillors not to associate the village with the landfill site, North Herts landfill. But Biffa were very generous, and I'd like to support it. I'm very happy to propose it. And I think it's actually something, we do a lot for young people, but this is something for the older community as well. Mature, I'll call them. Mature community.
There you go. The maturer members of our communities. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, fantastic. In that case, let's go straight to the vote. Could I please have a show of hands? Those in favour? That is everyone. Okay. So that is £600 recommended grant funding to the executive member. There you go, Julie.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for presenting. And I hope you continue to enjoy pickleball.
Will do.
Have a good evening. Okay. Yes. Please could I invite Bob Green from Baldock Junior Badminton Club to present, please.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Bob Green and I'm a badminton coach, and for the last 23 and a bit years I've been running the Baldock Junior Badminton Club. So we started off with a couple of very young demographic bids. We've then gone to one that covers all age ranges, and you might suggest that from the name of the club I'm going to be looking at the younger demographic again, but I'm not, because in 2024 I became a Live Longer Better champion. And I took part in a county-wide initiative through Live Longer Better, through Badminton Association of Hertfordshire, to try and start new sessions of badminton for the older generation. It was aimed at 50 plus. That was the starting point. And I was responsible for Stevenage and North Herts regions within the county. The project was to last a year. We got some funding from Sport England, and that was shared out across the different 10 regions in the county. Some took it on board a bit more than others. In the area that I was dealing with, I was fortunate enough to set up 2 sessions in Stevenage at Bedwell Community Centre on different days, because it was too popular for them all to go on one day, and 1 session at Baldock Community Centre. Now, these sessions ended up being self-sufficient. This was back in 2024. And I visited all 3 recently in the last couple of weeks, and I have done in several occasions in the past since leaving them, and they've taken it on board themselves. So from nothing, people who didn't know each other, were fairly sedentary, generally speaking, and at home a lot of the time, suddenly took that giant step, and then they got to know each other. Because after the hours badminton, and it wasn't very energetic badminton, admittedly, because the demographic was 55 to 87, it was 1 step left, 1 step right, 1 back, 1 forward, hit whatever comes your way, and hopefully don't have to pick up too much. They've moved on to being quite proficient at badminton, and the half-an-hour biscuits and tea at the end was what gelled them together, because they saw it as a social get-together, a means of getting away from home, from independence, and going on to meet other people and come together as a group. And the 2 in Stevenage have both, for the last 2 years, been out on Christmas lunches together as well, all organised through their own little group once it had started. Now, the scheme ended, obviously, at the end of 2024. And I thought, well, it's a shame there aren't any anywhere else. And then I got the email saying that the funds in the community were available if anybody wanted to apply. So I thought, well, we've got 1 in Baldock, we've got some in Stevenage. Why not try and get some more in my area, because I'm from Hitchin? So maybe I would apply for 3 applications, 1 for Hitchin, 1 for Letchworth, and the other one for Whitwell, which is a little bit out of the way, but there's a reason for it. And the reason is that when I went to the Live Longer Better Commemoration Day in North Herts Leisure Centre in November, I ran the badminton taster session there. And husband and wife came up to me at the end and said, "Oh, this is such a great idea. And why is there never anything in Whitwell?" So that is why I started looking at Whitwell. I then talked to the fellowship hall down there, to Michelle, and she said, "Oh, that would be so fantastic. We really could do with so much more down here for the people." So I think there's quite a lot of pull for this to take place. And that's why I wanted to put the bid in. And I would like to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. So my question is how many people do you anticipate attending?
Okay. As with all the other community halls, facilities aren't particularly large. So you've got one court and you can't realistically have more than about a dozen people. Otherwise, they come to take part and they spend more time sitting around than taking part. I found this with the Stevenage group. Once they got to 10 people, sometimes 12, but usually 10, they were finding they were sitting around more than they were playing. And then when I said, "There's some more people interested," they said, "Oh, please don't get anybody else to come because we're up to capacity." So that was why I set up a second one on a different day there. Same with Baldock. They've gone up to 12 and then they're thinking, "Oh, well, how can we cater for more people?" The only suggestion I can make was just to extend it to 3 hours and have an hour and a half with a half an hour in the middle overlap for the social aspect, so that the two groups could actually intertwine with each other. But that's up to them to organise because I'm not actually in charge of it now. That's up to them. So we're looking at small numbers, not large numbers, but for those that actually take it up and take part in a small community, it's a valuable extra thing to do for them. And of course, the physical activity is great.
Thank you. I was just wondering as well, have you tried to seek any other areas of funding? Like, is there, forgive my ignorance on this one, is there the equivalent of the LTA for badminton?
Yeah, Badminton England is the governing body of the sport, yes. And they do have various funding streams available for various activities. But it was the local one that I decided to go for on this occasion to try and get something rather than a bigger scheme. And that was why I applied to this particular one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay. In that case, let's move straight to the vote. Please, could I have a show of hands for recommending £730 to be granted for the Baldock Junior Badminton Club? Could I have a show of hands, please? Okay, fantastic. That recommendation is passed. Thank you. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Go for it.
Oh,
did you want to join?
Maybe make a request. I was going to say, if you could see how it goes and let us know, because I'm sure there'd be a number of other villages around. I come from Nebworth, but there's places with village halls that could be potentially interested. So if it seems to take off, yeah, because no, definitely. Yeah. No, great.
So I know there are lots of halls out there, but there's only so much one can do.
No, I'm sure, but it'd be good to follow up. Thank you.
Okay, and now we move to Celia Farley, for the St. Hippolyt's Bowls Club to present, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Celia Farley, and I'm here to represent St. Hippolyt's Bowls Club, of whom I am the treasurer. St. Hippolyt's Bowls Club's home green is in the recreation ground at St. Hippolyt's. Our club was originally founded 91 years ago and currently has a membership of around 40 people, most of whom are regular bowlers, but some, for a variety of reasons, are only social members. These are mostly people who have bowled in the past, but for various reasons are no longer able to bowl. Belonging to our club provides physical activity and social interaction with like-minded people. Some of our members are on their own, they are single, widowed, widowers, and coming to the club is their outlet. Most of our members do live fairly local to the club. A lot are in St Ipolyt's, quite a few are just in Hitchin, and like myself, a few come from Stevenage. We're a competitive club. We play in the Stevenage Mixed League, North Herts Women's Bowling Association, of which I'm also the president, and Letchworth and District Association. In addition, some members enter county competitions. We are a small club. We are also a successful club. Over the last few years, we have actually won the league and ended up as runners-up. We also play friendly matches against other clubs in North Herts and Bedfordshire. Who would this grant benefit? As a club, one of our main wishes at the moment is to improve our playing surface. A bowls club is only as strong as its green. Ideally, it needs to run faster, which would make bowling easier for people to, as we say, get up the green, to be able to bowl to cover the whole length of the green. This would improve the playing experience for all players, both our members and visitors to the green. A better surface may also help with recruitment of new members. Each year we have several open days to let people try the game, try the sport, and hopefully join us. Our feedback often is, oh, we'd love to come, but your green is a little bit hard to get up. Our green is maintained by a team of our members, also known as the Green Team, who work extremely hard to produce the best playing surface they can with the resources they have. Each autumn, we do have a professional team carry out an autumn renovation, a company called Turf Care, and they have suggested to our Green Team that to achieve the improvements we would like, we need to secure a verticutter cassette for our lawnmower. This would help the green by removing more thatch and encouraging the growth of grass. To this end, we have obtained quotes for this equipment from Allet, a company who our machine is an Allet machine. And it came as a surprise. We expected it not to be a huge amount or a large amount of money, but it was. The quote was £1,812. So we did a little bit of fundraising throughout the back end of last season, and members were very generous. They rounded up their membership fees and things like that, and we've managed to raise £500 towards it ourselves. But because we really want to get our green running better, we decided to apply for a grant to make up the balance of the money. We can get this cassette quite quickly as soon as we have the funds. They are in stock, and we will buy direct from Allet, because Allet, we know it will fit our machine because it's designed for it. Bit of technical information from our greenkeeper of what the verticutter does. Our machine, it has interchangeable cassettes, so it's one machine, does lots of different jobs, but it's the one we haven't got. The verticutter blades are specially designed to prune the grass to improve the tillering and stolon formation. This increases the turf density and is very important for anyone wishing to develop fine turfs that are required by both bowls greens and golf greens. A verticutter controls the thatch by removing dead and dying grass which would otherwise contribute to the thatch layer. It produces more upright grass growth, which will be easier and cleaner cut with the alternative blade. It also helps control weeds and the invasion of meadow grasses. Have you got any questions?
Thank you very much for that presentation. We really appreciate it. Have you approached the St Ipolyt's Parish Council to see if they have any funds they'd like to contribute?
We have in the past. We haven't on this one. We have had funds from other local councillors as well to do certain projects, but this one we thought was a little bit bigger than that. We should try a different route.
Yeah. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you. I know. Well, I'm on the parish council in Nebworth as well as this, and we've been lots of active discussions with the Bowls Club there. Probably one of your competitors around this. Just to be clear, but I guess one of my questions is who. I mean, essentially, this money is going to improve the actual playing surface itself. Who owns that? Because ultimately it's investing in improving
Who
something that
owns
somebody owns.
Well, who owns the bowl screen?
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually we pay a huge rent of £10 per annum to St Iplit's Parish Council. It's part of the recreation ground which they own.
Right. Okay. But so you're renting it off the parish council.
We pay £10 per annum.
Right. Okay. Like peppercorn rent. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Fantastic. Okay. In that case, I'd like to move to voting on the recommendation, whether to recommend grant funding for the St Iplit's Bowls Club. Can I have a show of hands, please? Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and have a very good evening. Okay, so on to item 5, the community update. Please, can I invite the Community Partnerships Officer to present?
Thank you, Chair. I'll just quickly go through the updates. Firstly, the North Herts Heroes Awards, which you will all be familiar with because we do it every year. The judging process is now complete and the winners have been selected. They will be celebrated at an awards event on Thursday, the 19th of March, where they will be recognised as outstanding individuals who make positive difference in our local community. There are films being made about each of the winners at the moment, and those films will be premiered at that event on the 19th of March. The new community grants application platform also launched in November. The application forms can be found online. If you need any, if you're helping groups to apply and you need any help with that, please contact us through the community@northherts.gov.uk email address. We commemorated Holocaust Memorial Day and a video was shared on North Herts Council's socials and on the YouTube channel. I think it's still up if people wish to see that. Coordinating various local and district-wide networking groups, including the Youth Action Group, Food Provision, Arts and Culture, Green and Growing Group. The team are also coordinating voluntary support to asylum seekers based in North Herts and continuing to facilitate the councillors' community surgeries. And also sharing and disseminating information on social media and mailing lists, keeping in touch with the community, voluntary, statutory and non-statutory agencies. Locally, the Community Partnerships Officer, which covers your area, Laura Hartley, is continuing to attend parish council meetings across the area to make closer links with the parishes and local groups. She met with Purton Sports and Social Club and the Purton Parish Council to view the new pavilion progress, which I believe is being opened very soon. Yeah. And supported the scam awareness workshop at the community wellbeing team and with Herts Police in Nebworth. Attending the, actually, somebody else from the team went to the Village Halls and Community Building Conference today. that was at the Zincodicott, the John Clements Centre. And just finally, I have some information that has come through from, it's a county thing that's come through regarding changes to Herts County Council's they're consulting on the proposed changes to Hertfordshire's post-16 school and college transport policy. The consultation will run from the 18th of February to the 12th of April. Further details are available on their website. You can also share your views by completing a short online survey, and the link to that survey will be in the notes to this meeting. But I think if you go on the County Council website, you should be able to find that. It's called the PTB consultation. There's another bit of information. Sorry, the Settle Housing have also got a community benefit fund, which is open until the 15th of March. Funding up to £3,000 per project is available. It needs to be of the benefit to the local community and residents, at least 50% of which of the beneficiaries must be Settle residents. If it's a community-led initiative where residents have a key role in shaping and delivering the project, and the project must be new. And again, we'll put the link to how to apply for that fund. So if you know of any projects or events going on in areas where there are a lot of settled tenants, then they may be able to apply for this fund. And that's all of my news for now, unless you've got any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so on to item 6, ward member activities. Do members have any updates for the community forum? Councillor Strong.
But since you kind of mentioned the new recreation ground in Purton, just to say, I mean, North Herts District Council, we did give a £50,000 grant to the fundraising committee when they were going through it. It's a project that's cost about 1.5 million, I think, at the end. So it's been an incredible amount of funds being raised for them. The building is complete. It was handed over. They, I think, officially have now closed their old recreation building. That's up for demolition. But if you're in Purton, there's lots of activities that go on, and do go and have a look. It's very active for sports. They've got football on there most Saturdays, and a clubhouse which meets and has like open evenings. Do look on social media because they have quite a lot of events held on Friday nights, because that's a lot of how they're getting funding to maintain it and also pay off the debt and help that they've now got to find money for. A fabulous facility, and there is going to be an opening evening early April for it. But it's a great project. I think other than that, it's about the only thing. Purton has now got 20-mile-an-hour speed signs, no humps, bumps or anything else, just the signs, but the traffic does seem to still speed, but it's a start. I think the residents themselves, if they're not in a hurry to get home, they do regard the speed, so it's a lot better. But there's a lot of through traffic that we do have in the village, like most villages. Perhaps it's a subject at some stage we ought to try and get together and work out better ways that we can try and combat it. I'm kind of convinced that I quite like lining on the roads, because if you make the road look narrower, then the traffic doesn't go so fast. So a lot of paint can go a long way in my view, but that's just some of my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Peace.
Thank you. I'll just mention again that we have the Ickleford Community Cafe, which runs on a Monday from 12 till 1:30. It's funded and run by CDA Herts, and their brief is to help rural residents with digital inclusion. So although we're based in Ickleford, we are open to anybody from a rural area. So if somebody comes to you in your ward who needs help filling in a form, doing something online, then please do point them in our direction, and somebody there will help them and drink some tea and give them some biscuits also.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you. At one of the first Southern Rural meetings that I attended, I very excitedly told everybody that the bells of St Mary, Great Wymondley, had been lowered and were then being raised. And we have a wonderful group of people who have learned to ring bells over the past 18 months. They have a practice on a Monday, sort of lunchtime, lunchish time. If anybody's walking through the fields around Great Wymondley, it is absolutely amazing to hear those bells ring. They are super, super loud now that they've been recast, much to the neighbours' delight. But if anybody's ever walking around the fields in Great Wymondley, Little Wymondley, and you hear them ring out and you want to wander over to the church, please do, because it's just wonderful to hear how far the bell ringers have got in the past 18 months.
Okay, thank you. On to item 7, topics for future forums. I know we have had a list of suggestions for future topics. Does anyone have anything obviously in mind regarding, obviously, Councillor Strong, you mentioned about speeding. Does anyone have any other topics that they'd like to consider for next community forum? Yeah.
So we in residents of Great Wymondley are pretty annoyed at the state of our village in general, from sort of lack of maintenance over the years. And I just wondered if we could have some attendance from County Council to talk through how residents can work together to improve just the overall look and feel of our rural areas that tend to be treated quite badly by people cutting through, rat runners, etc. And I know that we've all said exactly this tonight, that we're just getting overrun. And actually, if we could make improvements, change the look and feel, perhaps people would be a little bit less inclined to maybe to speed, right? They might be, might help.
Definitely. We can definitely sort that out. Yeah. I think that'd be really good, actually. Yeah. Because it's definitely something that affects the Southern Rurals, the rural committees, communities much more than urban, I think, with signs and whatnot. Okay. Councillor Ward.
Oh, I don't know whether I'm just thinking it's probably very relevant to everybody here in Southern Rural, although it is district wide, but I think it probably impacts us more than anything else, is maybe trying to get some update on, wait for it, Luton Airport expansion. Just because of the impact that you think about the geographic coverage of Southern Rural, it's going to have the most impact on us. I would have thought. I don't know if there's, maybe you find out if there's an update coming.
I was going to say, what is it are you looking for?
I think really about the not trying to challenge the is it going to happen type thing, because that's big ticket stuff, but more what's mitigation strategies, because just on noise and pollution and things like that, because that's going to impact our residents.
Briefing yesterday. Was that? There was one. I wasn't there.
Oh, I wasn't there.
Okay.
Maybe it's been covered. I just need to go and read something we've got as councillors, but yeah, if somebody could find out maybe, and if it hasn't been covered, it might be something we could look at.
Okay. Councillor Graciano.
Just in response to that, Councillor Ward, the airport expansion is at judicial review. I get an update from Laddercan, who are the campaign group, who are taking the airport to court. I do think it will be put through, is the strong feeling. They're still fighting, but the judge is taking quite a bit of time on that. As soon as I have information from the group, I can share that with members. But you're absolutely right. When that gets the go ahead, we'll be trashed right now with HGVs and speeding and goodness knows what. I also want to add, obviously, in the background, I submitted a letter to the leader of the council in connection with reprogramming the sat navs. An idea I put forward with the support for Caroline. I'm just waiting for some support. Do we need to put this as a motion to full council? It's a great idea, and it's getting a lot of coverage with residents. You know, lorries shouldn't be using our local areas apart from loading, but we're getting a lot of traffic coming through, as everybody knows. So, you know, if we can get the support from colleagues to support this, then what power that we're listening to people and we can get these sat navs reprogrammed. It just needs a message to Google and Garmin that, you know, we're taking this seriously. We don't want these villages getting trashed even more with the impact of airport, 2,100 homes at Cock and Hoe coming online and everything else going on, and Verges getting ripped up and trashed. So I agree with Caroline, Councillor Caroline McDonald. Let's get highways back out, and you know, they're answerable to some of this. Who do we contact when the Verges get trashed? Why do some logs get logged and then they get ignored or removed? Who is in charge, and why are they ignoring us? It's got to stop. I'm getting sick and tired of this, and residents are seeing us and they just think we don't know what we're doing, or we're trying to make change but it's not. So I agree with colleagues. Can we get highways up here? What do we do if we've got a lorry? You know, who do we speak to? Because, you know, like I said, we're logging this. I've got enforcement email addresses, and they're coming out and they're taking pictures, and where we are pushing this through, you know, they're getting punished for it. So it is a big issue, and, you know, people are thinking we're not doing anything about it. But coming back to Councillor Ward, the airport is at judicial review. When I get a response, I'll let members know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Graziano. So we're looking at asking if anyone from Highways can attend a future meeting in particular. Fantastic. Okay, thank you. In that case, all that's left for me to say is that our meeting is come to an end. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. Enjoy the lighter evenings.